Welcome, dear friends, to Whispers of the Night. Tonight, we invite you to leave the world behind for a little while and step softly into a place of quiet magic, a place where forgotten dreams linger, waiting patiently to be found once more. Imagine a library, endless and silent, bathed in the soft glow of moonlight. Tall shelves stretch toward the ceiling, filled with countless books, some dusty, some worn, all holding stories that have never been told. Among the books, there is one that seems to hum quietly, almost like it is alive, inviting a gentle soul to open it, to explore the unread chapters tucked within. Take deep breath and let your body sink into calm. Feel the quiet around you, the soft stillness of the night, the gentle pull of forgotten dreams calling you closer. As we begin tonight's journey together, allow the whispers of this magical place to brush gently against your heart. Let yourself drift slowly, softly into a world where each moment is filled with quiet wonder and each story waits patiently to be discovered. The pages turn slowly, and with each turn, a soft whisper reaches your ears. Delicate visions, faint and shimmering, unfold before your mind. You find yourself walking through a quiet, misty garden. The petals of unseen flowers sway gently, carried by a breeze that brushes softly against your skin. There is a faint melody in the air, almost like a lullaby, flowing and wrapping itself around your heart. Step lightly, with no hurry. Each step feels like a slow dance between reality and dreams. Notice how the air is filled with a calm that settles deep into your bones as you wander. Memories long forgotten drift into your thoughts, moments that were tucked away, moments you didn't realize you missed. Some feel warm and comforting, others bring a tender ache, all of them part of the quiet magic surrounding you now. Look around, see the soft shapes of dreams that float like clouds. Some shimmer like stars, some glow like moonlight on still water. Each one has a story, each one has a whisper waiting for you to notice, waiting to be felt. Breathe slowly, in and out. Let each whisper echo gently in your heart. Let yourself drift deeper into this calm, gentle world, a place where the boundaries of night, dreams, and memory blur softly together. The stories brush against your mind, lingering with each gentle word. Time slows here. The night stretches out like soft velvet, carrying you along in quiet wonder. Listen, the whispers speak of hope, of longing, of peace. They remind you of the gentle magic tucked quietly in your own heart, waiting, always waiting to be remembered and held softly. Let every vision, every whisper, every soft echo wrap around you like a warm, invisible embrace. Feel the gentle rhythm of this world, the gentle pull of forgotten dreams, the calm of a night full of quiet, tender magic. Stay here as long as you like, drifting slowly, letting each story linger, letting each moment stretch, letting the night carry you gently deeper into its embrace. Whispers of Unwritten Dreams. The Silent Library. The night was unusually still, as if the world itself had paused to catch its breath. The soft glow of the moon spilled through high, narrow windows, painting the stone floors of the old building in gentle silver streaks. Dust motes floated lazily in the pale light, drifting like tiny stars caught in a slow, silent dance. It was the kind of night that invited quiet contemplation, the kind that wrapped around the heart like a soft, familiar blanket, and the kind that called the protagonist here, to this forgotten place. The library had always been rumored to exist at the edge of the town, though few people spoke of it, and even fewer dared to seek it. Those who did often claimed that stepping inside felt like entering a world suspended between reality and dream. Tonight, curiosity had finally drawn the protagonist forward, past the cobblestone streets, slick with a thin sheen of evening mist, and into the shadowed archway that marked the entrance. The door itself seemed impossibly old, the wood groaning faintly as it opened, releasing a soft, musty scent that carried the weight of countless years and untold stories. Inside, the air was cool and heavy with the scent of paper and time. Rows of towering shelves stretched upward toward the ceiling, their tops lost in shadows. Books of every size, color, and condition rested in perfect stillness, some stacked neatly, some leaning precariously, and some scattered across the floor as if their contents had been too eager to remain hidden any longer. The protagonist stepped carefully, the soft tap of shoes on stone echoing like a gentle heartbeat in the otherwise silent space. Every footfall seemed to awaken a quiet awareness in the room, though the only response was the whisper of dust stirred into motion. There was a strange comfort in the stillness. The protagonist paused for a moment, closing the eyes and letting the senses adjust. The faint draft through the windows carried the scent of rain from outside, a delicate mixture of wet earth and fallen leaves. It mingled with the library's own scent, creating an atmosphere that felt both timeless and fleeting. Here, it was impossible to tell how long one might linger, for the hours seemed suspended, and yet every breath felt infused with a quiet anticipation. The protagonist's gaze drifted across the shelves, taking in the titles and the embossed letters that had faded with age. Many of the books seemed ordinary at first glance, their covers worn and cracked, their pages yellowed with the gentle erosion of time. But as the eyes moved, it became apparent that there was something different about this place. Some of the books seemed to hum softly, vibrating ever so slightly in the quiet. Others seemed to shimmer in the moonlight, as though their surfaces reflected more than just light, as though they held memories, secrets, and stories that waited for the right soul to unlock them, drawn forward by an instinct that felt older than memory itself. The protagonist wandered between the shelves. Fingers brushed over the spines of books, lingering on the ones that seemed to call out more insistently. Some titles were written in scripts long forgotten, some in languages that had never been spoken aloud in this world. And yet, there was an undeniable familiarity in them. A gentle tug at the heart, as if the mind remembered them before the body ever did. It was then, at the far end of the library, that the protagonist noticed it, A book unlike any other. Its cover was simple, unadorned, and yet it radiated a quiet presence. The air around it felt warmer, heavier, almost alive. As the protagonist drew closer, the book seemed to hum softly. A vibration felt more than heard, a resonance that threaded itself through the fingertips and into the chest. There was no title to mark it, no author to claim it, yet it beckoned with the certainty of something long awaited. Carefully, the protagonist lifted the book from the shelf. It was heavier than it appeared, solid and substantial, and the cover felt smooth beneath the hands, almost as though it had been polished by time itself. Opening it revealed pages yellowed with age, the edges delicate and slightly curled. As the first page was turned, a faint sigh seemed to rise from the paper, a gentle exhalation that carried with it the promise of stories yet to be told. Each word seemed to shimmer faintly in the moonlight. Though the letters were familiar and readable, they also held a weight that made the protagonist feel as though stepping into a dream. The contents of the book were unlike any story ever read before. It did not begin with a place, a character, or a plot, but with a whisper, a soft murmur that hinted at possibilities, a delicate suggestion that anything might happen within these pages. The sentences seemed to unfold themselves slowly, as though conscious of the careful reader who held them. Each word carried a gentle cadence, a rhythm that matched the protagonist's own heartbeat, creating a quiet harmony between the reader and the book. As the pages turned, visions began to flicker at the edges of perception. They were subtle at first, a glimmer of movement in the corner of the eye, the faint echo of a melody drifting through the library, the sensation of a soft breeze that seemed to have no source. With each paragraph, these glimpses became more vivid. A garden bathed in silver moonlight, petals floating through the air like tiny lanterns, a distant ocean whose waves whispered secrets to the shore, a small room where laughter had long ago echoed, now silent yet lingering. Each image, each whisper was ephemeral and delicate, fading as quickly as it appeared, yet leaving a sense of wonder that rooted itself firmly in the mind. The protagonist paused frequently, not out of confusion or hesitation, but out of reverence. This was not merely a book to be read, but a world to be absorbed, a place where time itself seemed to bend and stretch. There was no urgency here, no rush, only the quiet luxury of experiencing each moment fully, savoring the soft magic that threaded itself through every line. Every page seemed to breathe with life, and the protagonist could not help but feel as though the book knew the reader personally, responding to the tiniest shift of thought, the faintest flutter of emotion. Outside, the night deepened, but inside the library, the world felt timeless. The protagonist lost all awareness of hours passing, immersed entirely in the unfolding whispers of the book. Shadows shifted gently in the corners of the room, cast by the soft moonlight, and the air seemed to hum with a delicate resonance, as though the library itself were alive, attuned to the journey of discovery. Occasionally, the protagonist would glance around, noting a stray book that had fallen to the floor, or a shelf where dust had gathered more thickly. But these details were only threads in a larger tapestry, the quiet, unbroken spell of the unread chapters stretching endlessly with each turn of the page. The protagonist became aware of subtle changes within. A memory long buried might surface, fleeting and delicate, a feeling previously unacknowledged, might stir, warm and gentle. The book did not force understanding, nor did it demand attention, but it offered space to wander, to dream, and to remember. It was a place where forgotten fragments of self could emerge softly, unhurried, without fear or expectation. At one point, the protagonist paused and let the book rest in their lap, eyes wandering to the shelves above and around. How many other stories lay untouched, unread for decades or centuries? How many dreams had been whispered into these pages and forgotten by the world? The thought was both humbling and comforting that here, in this quiet library, there existed a sanctuary for dreams, for stories, for the small, delicate parts of the human heart that too often went unnoticed. The moon shifted in the sky, casting new angles of light through the tall windows. The protagonist felt a quiet awe, not just at the library, not just at the book, but at the very act of being present, of witnessing something so ancient and yet so intimately alive. It was as though the night itself had conspired to bring this moment into existence, and the protagonist understood that this was rare, a meeting of soul, story, and silence that might never occur again. Eventually, the protagonist returned to the book, turning another page. The whispers grew slightly louder, more insistent, yet still gentle, still soft, like a voice barely above a sigh. There was no urgency, no pressure, only an invitation to continue exploring. Each sentence, each paragraph, felt like stepping further into a dream that was both personal and universal, intimate and infinite. Time remained suspended, yet the protagonist knew that eventually they would have to leave. But that thought did not bring sadness. There was a quiet promise in the air that the library would remain patient and enduring, and that the book would wait with its unread chapters until they returned. For now, the joy was in the exploration itself, in the gentle unfolding of whispers and visions, in the slow, deliberate immersion into a world that existed only in the delicate intersection of imagination and memory. And so, beneath the pale, gentle light of the moon, the protagonist sat, cradling the book with reverence. Each page turned was a quiet revelation, a soft invitation to linger, to dream, to remember. The library was alive in its own way, not with movement or sound, but with the subtle heartbeat of stories waiting patiently to be read. Here, in this place, in this moment, the protagonist felt the profound and tender truth of the night, that every forgotten dream, every unread chapter, held a magic that could soothe, inspire, and awaken the soul, if only one took the time to listen. The whispering pages. As the protagonist turned the first page, a gentle murmur rose from the book, almost imperceptible at first, like the soft sigh of wind through leaves. The words on the page seemed to shimmer faintly in the moonlight, each letter carrying a weight that was felt more than read. There was a quiet rhythm to the whispers, as if the book had been waiting patiently for this moment, waiting for the right presence to listen, to feel, to understand. The whispers were not loud or urgent. They were soft, delicate, and full of memory. Each page unfolded slowly, revealing fragments of dreams long forgotten, scattered across time and space. The protagonist felt a tug at the heart, subtle but insistent, a gentle pull toward the worlds the book contained. With each word read, the boundary between the library and the visions within the pages began to blur, and the air seemed to thrum, ever so faintly, with quiet magic. Fleeting images flickered at the edges of perception. A meadow stretched wide under a lavender sky, petals floating softly in the breeze. A narrow bridge arched over a calm river, reflecting stars that twinkled as if alive. A warm fire crackled in a small, cozy room where laughter and whispered conversations lingered like echoes of a forgotten song. The protagonist could not touch these visions, could not linger long in any one. Yet they left a gentle warmth, a sense of familiarity, as though the soul recognized something it had long overlooked. The pages whispered not only of places and moments, but of feelings. Longing, hope, quiet, joy, and tender sorrow emerged in small, almost invisible currents, drifting across the mind like soft clouds. The protagonist paused frequently, letting the visions settle, savoring the gentle magic of each glimpse. Time itself seemed to slow. The night stretched longer, allowing the whispers to fill the space completely, enfolding the protagonist in a cocoon of reflection and wonder. Some visions were playful, almost mischievous. Tiny lights danced across fields, moving with a rhythm that felt alive. Trees bent gracefully as if bowing in greeting, and distant voices hummed softly, calling out in tones that were just beyond understanding. Others were serene, almost sacred, a quiet pool reflecting the full moon, a solitary path lined with blooming flowers. A soft melody played on an instrument unseen but perfectly familiar. Each page held a new secret, a gentle revelation that urged the protagonist to continue reading, to linger just a little longer. The protagonist's mind began to fill with questions, but not questions that demanded answers. Instead, they were soft musings, contemplative and quiet, reflections that came naturally from observing these whispered moments. Who had dreamed these visions before? Were they the echoes of memories that had never been lived? Or perhaps they were fragments of dreams meant for anyone who had the patience and stillness to notice them. Every turn of the page seemed to answer these questions with a soft, almost imperceptible nod, a quiet suggestion that the wonder itself was enough with each page. The protagonist felt a growing sense of connection, a subtle realization that these whispered dreams were not entirely separate from their own heart. Some images stirred old, half-forgotten hopes, while others awakened tender curiosities, the gentle spark of imagination that had lain dormant. The visions seemed to understand this presence, unfolding in ways that felt personal and intimate, as if the book itself adapted to the rhythm of the reader's mind. The library around the protagonist remained silent, yet somehow the space itself seemed to participate in the magic. Shadows shifted gently, dust motes glimmered in the moonlight, and the air carried a soft hum, barely noticeable but deeply felt. Every sound, every subtle movement seemed amplified in significance, part of a larger symphony of quiet enchantment that the book had begun to orchestrate. The whispers slowed, leaving only a faint echo of melody and memory, allowing the protagonist to reflect. In these pauses, the mind wandered freely, tracing the delicate threads that connected one vision to another. The book offered no narrative in the traditional sense. There were no plots, no conflicts, no resolutions, only gentle glimpses of possibility. Each page was an invitation to explore, to feel, to imagine without expectation or urgency. As the night deepened, the protagonist continued reading, fully absorbed in the gentle rhythm of the book. Each turn of the page was a soft step along a path, both unfamiliar and strangely intimate. The whispers became more distinct, forming a tapestry of experiences that felt like a secret shared between the book and the reader. A faint breeze seemed to pass through the library, carrying the scent of distant meadows, fresh rain, and the subtle fragrance of forgotten memories. It wrapped around the protagonist, binding the visions more closely to the heart, allowing each fleeting glimpse to linger longer, felt more deeply. Hours could have passed, or mere moments. It was impossible to tell. Time had become a soft, pliable thing, stretching and contracting in harmony with the turning of the pages. The protagonist felt no rush, no urgency, only the quiet pleasure of discovery. The magic of the whispers was gentle yet insistent, a soft encouragement to remain attentive, to notice the smallest details, to allow the imagination to wander freely. Some pages brought warmth, others a gentle melancholy, a sunset that had never existed, a street corner that smelled faintly of autumn leaves, a hand reaching out to touch an unseen companion. Each vision carried emotion, subtle and profound. The protagonist lingered on these pages, closing the eyes briefly to savor the impression, letting it settle into memory as if filing away a secret treasure. The whispers themselves seemed aware of the protagonist's presence. They adjusted, slowed, and deepened, responding to the attention and care given. Nothing was forced, nothing demanded. The book was alive in its quiet way, offering experiences tailored not to the intellect but to the heart. There was a sense of dialogue, unspoken but unmistakable, between the reader and the pages, a connection that transcended words. By the time the protagonist looked up, the moon had risen higher, filling the library with a silver light that made the dust motes shimmer like a scattering of tiny stars. Yet the book continued to whisper, and the visions persisted, each one unfolding with gentle patience. The protagonist leaned back slightly, letting the arms rest on the edges of the open pages, feeling the steady, calming pulse of the quiet magic surrounding them. A sense of wonder had taken root, deep and enduring. Curiosity had transformed into reverent attention, a desire not just to read, but to feel, to absorb, and to carry these dreams gently within. The protagonist realized that the book's whispers were not simply stories, but invitations to explore the unseen, to touch the forgotten, and to allow the heart to expand softly, without fear or expectation. With each page, the protagonist's imagination became a living part of the whispers. Scenes once fleeting began to linger longer in the mind. Impressions deepened, and a quiet joy grew, not from accomplishment or understanding, but simply from being present, from listening, from witnessing. The magic of the book was not in revelation or surprise, but in the patient unfolding of moments, the tender expansion of awareness, and the gentle stirring of the soul. And so, beneath the quiet silver light, surrounded by towering shelves and endless possibilities, the protagonist continued to read. Each page offered a new vision, a new whisper, a new fragment of forgotten dreams. The world outside could wait. Here, in the stillness of the library, the air alive with soft hums and the faint scent of old pages, the protagonist was free to wander through meadows, along rivers, under star-strewn skies, and into the delicate magic of stories, waiting quietly to be remembered. Time had little meaning here. Only the whispers, only the soft unfolding of dreams, and only the calm presence of the reader mattered. And in that quiet communion, a sense of wonder took root, steady and enduring, urging the protagonist to turn the next page, and the next, and the next, ever deeper into the unread chapters of forgotten dreams. Dreams between reality The protagonist blinked slowly, feeling a subtle shift in the air around them. The whispers of the book had grown richer, deeper, as if the pages themselves had begun to breathe. The boundaries of the library seemed to soften, the shadows stretching and blending with the silver moonlight, and a faint warmth, almost imperceptible, brushed against the skin. With each turn of the page, the line between what was real and what belonged to the book began to blur, melting into a seamless, delicate dreamscape. Stepping forward, the protagonist noticed that the floor beneath their feet had softened, as though stone had turned to mist. Every step felt lighter, suspended between the tangible and the imagined. In the distance, the shelves that had once towered solid and still now shimmered faintly, their edges flickering like the ripples of a pond touched by moonlight. The library was no longer just a room. It had become a portal, an open doorway into the quiet, forgotten corners of dreams. As the protagonist moved, visions began to emerge around them. Misty gardens appeared, their paths winding softly between trees that swayed without wind. Flowers glowed faintly in muted colors, and petals drifted lazily through the air, curling and twisting in mid-flight, as though dancing to a silent melody. The protagonist could not say where the gardens began or ended, or whether the air itself carried the fragrance of imagined blooms or memories long buried. And yet, each step into the mist felt natural, almost inevitable, as if the world had been waiting for this gentle presence to arrive. Faint music began to weave through the dreamlike landscape. It was distant at first, barely more than a whisper, a delicate hum of strings and soft chimes. The notes floated lazily, weaving around the protagonist's mind and curling into the edges of perception. Occasionally, a single note would linger longer than expected, pressing softly against the heart. It was neither joyful nor sorrowful, but exactly the kind of sound that makes one pause and simply listen, feeling the subtle stirring of something unspoken within. Shadows moved differently here. They did not merely fall where the light failed to reach. They seemed to possess a quiet life of their own. One stretched along a path, shimmering faintly with silvery light, and another flickered near a glimmering pond, reflecting shapes that had never existed in reality. The protagonist did not feel fear, only curiosity, a calm fascination with the gentle strangeness of everything around them. Every movement, every sound, every faint glimmer carried a soft sense of significance, a delicate invitation to notice and linger. It became clear that the book was revealing not only the forgotten dreams of others, but also the unacknowledged corners of the protagonist's own heart. Memories surfaced softly, fragments of desires and longings that had been quietly buried beneath daily life. A forgotten hope for travel, an unspoken wish for connection, the small, tender curiosity about distant lands and unseen skies, all of it drifted gently to the forefront. Touched lightly by the whispering pages, the protagonist wandered further into this blending of dream and reality. They passed under arches made of intertwined branches, where soft petals fell like snow. A faint glow emanated from unseen sources, bathing the surroundings in a light that was neither warm nor cold, but perfectly balanced to soothe and invite reflection. Each breath taken here seemed deeper, more mindful, each heartbeat syncing with the gentle rhythm of the world around them. Sometimes, reflections appeared in unexpected places, in pools of water, in shimmering patches of mist, even along the edges of shadows. The protagonist saw faces, not exactly familiar, not exactly strangers, but fragments of feelings once felt or long wished for. Joy, tenderness, hope, and quiet sorrow flickered across these reflections, like fleeting images in the corner of the mind. The book had become a mirror, not only showing what had been forgotten, but also revealing what had been quietly waiting to be acknowledged. Every step deeper into this dreamscape felt like a slow revelation. The protagonist learned to move without hurrying, letting each moment stretch just long enough to savor the subtle beauty around them. The music swirled more distinctly now, the shadows grew more intricate, and the misty gardens expanded in ways that defied any understanding of space or time. Yet none of it felt confusing or overwhelming. Everything unfolded naturally, as if the protagonist's presence had been anticipated, welcomed, and in this quiet immersion, the heart of the protagonist began to feel lighter. Each vision, each whisper, carried a gentle reminder that forgotten dreams were not lost, only waiting for attention, for recognition, for the quiet patience of someone willing to notice. There was no rush to understand, no pressure to act. The book offered experiences to be felt, quietly, gently, with reverence and care. The protagonist paused at a small, glimmering pond, its surface smooth like glass. In it, faint images of past wishes floated, the longing to see a distant horizon, the curiosity to explore unknown paths, the simple joy of small, tender moments once overlooked. Watching these reflections, the protagonist realized that the book had become more than a story. It was a companion, a guide, a gentle mirror showing not only what was imagined, but what had always quietly existed within. The garden paths continued to wind, each turn revealing new visions. Tiny lights floated in the air like fireflies, drifting lazily, glowing softly in response to the protagonist's attention. Gentle breezes carried the faint scent of flowers and earth, drifting in patterns that seemed almost choreographed, delicate and purposeful. Shadows stretched and shifted, carrying the faintest suggestion of movement. A life existing between perception and imagination. Hours passed, or perhaps only minutes. Time felt irrelevant here, secondary to to the quiet exploration of dreams and reflections. The protagonist turned page after page, each revealing another layer of magic, another soft whisper of forgotten or unacknowledged longing. Every turn deepened the connection between reader and book, between self and imagination, creating a world that was both intimate and infinite. Eventually, the protagonist rested briefly, letting the hands linger on the edges of the open pages. A faint hum, like the exhale of the universe itself, filled the dreamscape, settling gently over the misty gardens, the glowing lights, and the quiet reflections. The heart of the protagonist was calm, open, and receptive, embracing the gentle awareness that the book offered. And so, surrounded by shadows that moved with purpose, music that drifted like air, and gardens that seemed to breathe in rhythm with every heartbeat, the protagonist continued their journey. Each step, each page, each whisper revealed the delicate truth that dreams, both forgotten and unacknowledged, were alive. They existed quietly, waiting for someone patient, someone gentle, someone willing to step between reality and imagination, and simply notice. In this suspended moment, the protagonist understood something profound yet simple. The magic of the book was not in grandeur or spectacle, but in the quiet revelations that stirred the heart, in the blending of reality and dream. Every fleeting vision, every subtle whisper, every unspoken longing became real, tangible in the gentle landscape the book created. And so the protagonist walked slowly, read slowly, breathed slowly, immersed completely in the tender world that existed between reality and dreams, aware that each moment, each whisper, each vision was a gift, quietly waiting to be discovered, cherished, and remembered. The Lost Memories. The protagonist continued through the quiet library, holding the book with gentle reverence. Each page felt heavier than the last, as though the whispers within had grown more substantial, carrying fragments of time, emotion, and memory. The air around them seemed to thicken with the weight of invisible histories, the soft hum of unseen presences brushing against the edges of perception. Each breath was a careful negotiation between curiosity and caution, as if stepping too quickly might shatter the fragile threads that held the dreams together. As the protagonist turned another page, a faint, almost imperceptible sigh rose from the paper, a whisper that brushed lightly against the mind. It was the first glimpse of something bittersweet, a memory not entirely their own, yet strangely familiar. A sunlit garden appeared in the corner of the mind, one that had never been visited yet felt as though it had always existed somewhere, waiting. A swing moved gently in the breeze, and the sound of laughter, soft and distant, threaded its way into consciousness. The protagonist paused, letting the vision settle, feeling the ache of a longing that was neither entirely past nor entirely imagined. The book seemed to sense the pause, unfolding another fragment with deliberate patience. A small street corner appeared, drenched in the warm glow of evening, where the scent of bread and spice hung lightly in the air. Children's voices floated faintly from around a bend, fleeting echoes of a world once known, or perhaps never known. The protagonist could not discern which the memory felt suspended between existence and dream, a delicate, fragile thing that required careful attention. Each page turned became a meditation, a quiet act of care for the whispers it contained. Shadows in the library shifted as though acknowledging the delicate act of remembrance. The protagonist moved slowly, each step mindful, careful not to disturb the fragile balance that seemed to hang over the unread chapters. The moonlight streamed in through the tall windows, tracing silver paths across the floors and illuminating particles of dust that drifted like tiny floating stars. Within this gentle glow, the whispers of the lost memories became almost tangible, forming delicate threads that wove through the air and into the heart of the reader. Some visions were fleeting, almost like a sigh or a breath, a hand brushing across an unseen surface, a glance shared between faces never fully realized, a melody that lingered just beyond hearing. The protagonist's heart responded quietly, a soft recognition that these moments, though ephemeral, carried weight. They were the shadows of feelings long forgotten, emotions once treasured and then set aside, waiting patiently to be acknowledged once more. The protagonist turned the pages carefully, aware that some of these dreams were fragile, delicate as gossamer easily lost if not treated with tenderness. A memory of a quiet room flooded softly into perception, sunlight filtering through a window, the faint smell of flowers on the windowsill, a chair tucked neatly into a corner where someone had once rested. The scene seemed insignificant at first glance, yet it hummed with meaning. A gentle reminder that even the smallest fragments of memory hold value when noticed and held with care. Each new page offered a fragment of a life, never lived or a moment long forgotten. The protagonist saw streets lined with unfamiliar trees, where a child once chased the wind across cobblestones, a library filled with books whose pages had never been turned, carrying whispers of the hopes and fears of someone who had long since moved on. In these visions, there was both comfort and longing, a sense that the world had always been full of delicate, fleeting moments, and that the act of remembering them was a form of reverence. The air in the library seemed to pulse gently with the rhythm of the memories themselves. Every inhalation drew the subtle fragrance of imagined places, the scent of old pages mingling with the ephemeral smells of distant gardens, warm kitchens, and rainy streets. The protagonist closed the eyes briefly, letting the senses absorb everything, feeling the soft layering of emotion settle in the chest. Longing and nostalgia coexisted quietly, not sharp or painful, but like a song that resonates gently beneath the surface of thought. Some memories carried a tender sorrow. A small boat drifted silently across a lake that had never existed, carrying someone who had been lost before the journey even began. A pair of footsteps echoed faintly along a bridge that led nowhere, leaving impressions that vanished as quickly as they formed. These moments touched the protagonist gently, a reminder that dreams, once forgotten, are not gone entirely. They survive in whispers, waiting to be noticed and cared for. The book revealed not only the fragility of dreams, but also their resilience. A garden bathed in golden light appeared suddenly, where blossoms opened slowly, unfurling in rhythm with the heartbeats of those who might have walked there. The protagonist felt the faint warmth of hope in the air, The sense that even memories forgotten or neglected could bloom again if treated with gentleness. Every page was a lesson in patience, in the careful tending of the heart's hidden spaces, and in the quiet power of attention. The protagonist lingered over a particularly delicate vision, a room filled with soft music, sunlight streaming through lace curtains, and a table set for someone who never came. Each note, each ray of light, each shadow seemed infused with emotion, yet there was no urgency, no demand for recognition. Instead, there was an invitation to simply witness, to hold the moment in awareness, and to honor it. Here, in this quiet communion with the book, the protagonist learned that attention itself is a form of care, and care can coax even the most fragile dreams back into consciousness. As the night deepened, the protagonist felt a rhythm emerge, a gentle cadence of turning pages, of pausing, of noticing. The library, the book, and the whispers of lost memories were no longer separate. They were entwined, forming a delicate ecosystem of reflection. Each whisper carried weight, yet none demanded action. They simply existed, awaiting recognition. And the protagonist's presence was a gift to them, as much as they were a gift to the reader. Soft light continued to filter through the windows, casting patterns that shifted slowly across the floors. Dust motes glimmered like tiny stars, drifting lazily in the golden beams. The protagonist's fingers brushed over the pages with deliberate care, mindful of the fragile textures beneath the hands, aware that each fold, each crease, was a repository of time and memory. In this attentiveness, a profound sense of calm settled in the chest, the gentle reassurance that nothing is ever truly lost when approached with reverence. Some visions were playful, teasing the edges of imagination. A kite flew high in a sky that existed only in memory, looping and dipping in arcs of sunlight. A cat padded silently along a windowsill, leaving impressions that faded as quickly as they appeared. These fleeting moments were not less important than the more solemn memories. They were part of the tapestry of life, reminders that joy, curiosity, and wonder are as vital as longing and nostalgia. The protagonist paused frequently, letting the senses absorb everything: the sound of imagined breezes, the warmth of invisible sunlight, the faint murmurs of voices long unheard. The book encouraged patience, a slowing of the heartbeat, a deepening of awareness. Every page required nothing more than presence. Every whisper required only quiet listening. In doing so, the protagonist began to feel the invisible threads that connected all memories, all dreams, all moments. A web of quiet magic linking the past, the imagined, and the heart itself. A particularly fragile memory surfaced: a chair by a window, a forgotten cup of tea, a handwritten note never sent. The protagonist's heart recognized it immediately, not as a moment of regret, but as a fragment of something that had been gently tucked away, waiting for attention. The act of noticing it, of allowing it to exist fully for a single moment, was enough to breathe life back into it. The book whispered softly, approving, encouraging further exploration, and the protagonist turned the page with tender care. Night deepened further. The shadows became elongated, yet they no longer felt threatening or cold. Instead, they moved like soft companions, guiding the protagonist gently through the delicate landscape of lost memories. The air was rich with the sense of quiet magic, the kind that exists in spaces where time has been suspended. where attention and care can restore even the most fragile dreams. Hours might have passed, or perhaps only moments had drifted by. Time felt irrelevant here, absorbed into the gentle rhythm of turning pages and breathing with the whispers. Each vision settled softly in the mind, leaving impressions that would linger long after the chapter was closed. Longing, nostalgia, joy, and reflection all mingled in a tender harmony, a quiet song that played beneath the surface of awareness. Eventually, the protagonist rested the book gently on the lap, eyes closing briefly. In the quiet, a sense of gratitude emerged. Gratitude for the glimpses, for the opportunity to witness, for the delicate act of remembering. The lost memories were no longer simply fragments of a forgotten past or imagined possibility. They were living threads, delicate yet enduring, woven into the fabric of the protagonist's own heart, ready to be nurtured and carried forward. And so, in the stillness of the library, beneath the soft, silver glow of moonlight, the protagonist continued to linger. Each turn of the page, each whisper, each delicate memory revealed the profound truth that even what is lost can be found. Even what is forgotten can be remembered, if approached with patience, reverence, and gentle care. Here, in this quiet sanctuary of whispers and dreams, the protagonist learned that some things, fragile and tender as they are, only require notice to bloom once again, and that the heart, when given the chance, is always capable of remembering what truly matters. Weaving the forgotten. The protagonist sat quietly with the book open, the gentle hum of whispered stories filling the air around them. Something had shifted in the pages, something more profound than before. No longer were the visions simply fragments of forgotten dreams or delicate memories. They had begun to intertwine, threads of past and present, weaving themselves into a tapestry that seemed to respond to attention and care. The act of reading had become an act of creation, a soft, deliberate weaving of experiences that had been scattered, waiting patiently to be joined. Each turn of the page revealed connections that had gone unnoticed. A memory of a rainy street intersected with the laughter of children from another vision. A distant melody merged softly with the murmur of a forgotten conversation. The protagonist noticed these threads instinctively, seeing the subtle lines linking moments and emotions. They began to imagine ways to continue the weaving, to gently guide the strands, letting each thread find its natural place in the tapestry of possibility. The process was delicate. It required patience, reflection, and quiet attention. The protagonist understood that the book's magic responded not to force, but to care. Each smile imagined, each gentle thought held in mind, each small act of remembrance strengthened the connections between the forgotten and the now. The whispers themselves seemed to encourage this, soft murmurs threading through the room like tiny, invisible hands guiding the process. As the protagonist focused, small ripples began to appear beyond the pages. The gentle glow of moonlight seemed to intensify, soft reflections dancing along the floors and walls. A breeze, faint yet tangible, drifted through the library, carrying the scent of imagined gardens, fresh rain, and old books. In the hush of these subtle movements, the protagonist sensed that the weaving was beginning to touch reality itself, that the threads of dreams were stretching outward, brushing softly against the present. The first instance was almost imperceptible. A flower petal drifted lazily across the floor, though no window had opened. Its color, soft and iridescent, mirrored a bloom glimpsed within one of the whispered visions. The protagonist watched, heart slowing, aware of the fragile bridge forming between imagination and the world around them. Encouraged, the attention deepened, the weaving becoming more intentional, more tender. Small, quiet acts in real life began to echo the stories in the book. The protagonist remembered a neighbor's forgotten garden, its weeds gently pulled aside in thought and intention. They offered a silent wish for the garden to bloom, imagining the flowers opening, the soil soft and warm, and the act of care seemed to carry through the unseen threads of the world. A subtle warmth followed, a faint sense of satisfaction, a quiet reassurance that the act, though small, had meaning beyond perception. Every page turned offered more opportunities. A vision of a child reaching for a star sparked a thought of courage in the protagonist's heart, a tiny step in real life. Perhaps speaking to someone gently, offering kindness, or daring to take a risk in quiet confidence. Each thought, each small gesture, echoed softly, reverberating in ways that were both unseen and deeply felt. The magic of the book was no longer confined to the page. It had begun to weave itself subtly into the fabric of the real world. The protagonist wandered through the library, moving with deliberate care, observing how the whispers of dreams and memories intertwined with the present. Shadows shifted gracefully, soft shapes dancing along the shelves, tracing the invisible threads that stretched from the imagination into reality. The air carried a delicate rhythm, the pulse of connection, the sense that the act of noticing, remembering, and caring was creating something tangible, though it was soft, subtle, and unseen by most. Some threads carried joy, others a gentle melancholy, a memory of laughter long forgotten, intertwined with a quiet reflection of a lost opportunity. The protagonist felt the balance of these threads, understanding intuitively that each held equal importance. The tapestry was not perfect, nor did it need to be. It simply needed attention, care, and the gentle presence of someone willing to engage with it fully. The protagonist experimented with the weaving, imagining scenarios that combined moments from different visions. A sunlit park from one dream merged seamlessly with a quiet evening street from another. Children's laughter mingled with a faint melody drifting from a distant garden. The world outside, or at least the sense of it that existed in the mind and heart, seemed to respond, echoing softly the harmony of the threads. The boundaries between story and reality, dream and waking life, continued to blur, yet in a gentle, comforting way. The book seemed alive in a way that had never been so clear before. Its pages pulsed faintly with soft light, shimmering as though breathing in response to the protagonist's attention. It did not force the magic outward, but rather it welcomed the careful weaving, amplifying the intention of care and attentiveness. Every thread connected more smoothly. Every memory or dream became more vivid, more present, yet always gentle, never imposing. Even the simplest gestures became acts of magic. A thought of comfort for someone feeling lonely seemed to ripple outward. A reflection on a forgotten hope brought a fleeting warmth to the chest. The protagonist realized that the act of weaving was not about control, but about mindfulness, empathy, and intention. Each connection between past and present, between dream and reality, was a quiet, patient act of love and attention. The protagonist paused to reflect on a vision of an old town square, where lanterns glimmered in the twilight. In imagining the warm light, a sense of possibility filled the library. Shadows seemed to lean closer. The faintest whisper of wind stirred the pages, and the small, imagined light felt as though it had reached beyond the book. For a moment, the protagonist felt the soft thrill of understanding. The weaving of dreams was not just about reading or imagining, but about creating ripples that extended beyond themselves, subtly, invisibly, into the world. Time felt fluid, dissolving into the rhythm of the weaving. There was no urgency, no expectation, only the steady, deliberate unfolding of connections, gentle and persistent. The protagonist turned page after page, noticing every delicate detail, tracing threads through whispered dreams, feeling the quiet satisfaction of a tapestry slowly taking shape, woven from the fragments of forgotten possibilities. Some threads carried laughter, bright and fleeting, like sunlight on water. Others carried quiet melancholy, soft as falling leaves. Still others carried courage, fragile yet persistent, waiting to be nurtured into action. The protagonists learn to move with patience, honoring the subtleties, understanding that even the smallest thread, tended with care, could ripple outward in ways that mattered deeply. A vision of a child planting seeds in a garden inspired another gentle act. The protagonist imagined leaving a small gift, a token of kindness for someone unknown. The intention, simple and tender, seemed to settle into the air, a quiet extension of the weaving. It was impossible to say whether the act had tangible effect, yet the warmth in the chest and the soft hum of the whispers suggested that even the smallest gestures carried weight, bridging the invisible gap between imagination and the world. The library seemed to breathe along with the protagonist. Dust motes shimmered in silver trails, faint light reflected across the floors, and the air carried the faint, fragrant hints of dreams, blossoms, rain, earth, sunlight. The book pulsed softly in the hands, each page a delicate thread in the tapestry, each whisper a reminder of the beauty and fragility of forgotten possibilities. The protagonist realized that weaving the forgotten was not an act of creation alone, but an act of attention, care, and presence. Each thread required mindfulness. Every connection needed gentle reflection. In doing so, the protagonist discovered that the subtle magic of the book was mirrored in the world beyond the pages. Moments of kindness, courage, and reflection echoed softly, heartwarming and quiet, extending the delicate influence of dreams into reality. By the time the night deepened and the moon rose high, the tapestry of woven dreams had grown intricate and luminous. Threads of laughter, longing, hope, and quiet joy intertwined seamlessly, a delicate bridge between the unseen and the tangible. The protagonist rested the book on the lap, closing eyes briefly, feeling the steady pulse of connection. Every whisper, every vision, every remembered fragment contributed to a sense of quiet fulfillment, not from accomplishment, but from gentle participation in the creation of something tender and enduring. And so, in the stillness of the library, surrounded by the soft glow of moonlight, shimmering dust, and the quiet hum of whispers, the protagonist continued weaving. Each thread of forgotten dream, each delicate memory, each small act of mindful attention contributed to a growing tapestry of connection, bridging the realms of imagination and reality. Here, in this quiet sanctuary of stories, the magic was subtle yet profound. Dreams and memories, when treated with patience and care, could ripple softly into life, changing the world not in spectacle or grandeur, but in gentle, heartwarming ways. The protagonist breathed deeply, aware of the subtle joy of creation, and of the quiet wonder of participating in a tapestry far larger than themselves, a living, breathing testament to the enduring power of attention, care, and the quiet weaving of forgotten dreams. The last chapter of the heart. The protagonist lingered in the library, letting the final pages of the book settle beneath their fingertips. The whispers had quieted now, soft echoes of distant laughter, forgotten songs, and tender memories lingering faintly in the air. Each page seemed to sigh gently, a quiet farewell, as though the book itself had sensed the time had come to rest. The weight of unread dreams, once so heavy and mysterious, had softened into a gentle presence, comforting rather than insistent, familiar rather than distant. The moonlight filtering through the tall windows shimmered faintly, catching the edges of the shelves and casting long silver reflections across the floor. Dust motes floated like tiny stars suspended in the stillness, as if the library itself had held its breath, waiting for the final act of attention. The protagonist's hand hovered over the cover, reluctant to close it, aware that doing so would mark the end of a journey both inward and beyond. Yet there was no sadness here, only the quiet serenity that comes from understanding, from embracing the lessons that linger long after the moment has passed. When the book finally closed, it did so with a soft, deliberate sigh, as though content in the knowledge that it had shared all it had to give. The protagonist held it gently, feeling its weight, not merely the weight of paper and ink, but the weight of experiences, whispers, and possibilities now woven into the fabric of the heart. A calm warmth spread through the chest, gentle and steady, a quiet reassurance that the journey, though complete, was not over. The lessons of the unread chapters had become part of the self, small threads of wisdom, hope, and reflection ready to be carried forward. The library itself began to shift, not in a dramatic or jarring way, but subtly, like the fading of a dream upon waking. Shadows softened, the towering shelves receded gently into indistinct shapes, and the edges of the room blurred. The faint scent of old pages, once so strong, began to fade into memory, leaving only the lingering warmth of quiet comfort. The protagonist took a slow breath, absorbing the gentle transformation, aware that the library would always exist somewhere, tucked into the corners of imagination, waiting to be revisited whenever the heart called. Outside the window, the moon hung low in the sky, its silver light reflecting on the floor in a delicate, shifting pattern. For a moment, the protagonist felt suspended between two worlds, the calm, reflective space of the library and the familiar rhythm of the world beyond. Neither was better nor worse, simply different, and both beautiful in their own way. The act of reading, of listening, of weaving through dreams and memories had revealed a subtle truth. The magic of the unread chapters did not exist solely in the pages of a book, but within the gentle awareness of the one who takes time to notice, to reflect, and to hold tenderly. The protagonist rose slowly, feeling the book's presence in the hands like a heartbeat. Every step taken was deliberate, each movement measured and mindful, carrying the awareness that even in ordinary gestures, there is the potential for quiet wonder. The pages had whispered, the dreams had unfolded, and now, with the book closed, the lessons of patience, care, and attentive observation were ready to accompany every action beyond the library's walls. As the protagonist moved toward the door, the library's walls seemed to breathe softly, an invisible exhale of gratitude and recognition. The whispers of forgotten dreams lingered, subtle and faint, like the faint afterglow of a dream remembered upon waking. They were no longer voices demanding attention, but gentle companions, reminders that even the smallest acts of awareness, reflection, and kindness carry resonance far beyond the moment. Stepping into the quiet night, the protagonist felt the cool air brush against the skin. The streets were calm, bathed in a silver blue glow from the moon overhead. The city seemed unchanged, yet everything felt different, softer, slower, more luminous, imbued with a sense of gentle possibility. The journey through unread chapters had shifted perception, creating a lens through which the world appeared delicate, full of nuance, and quietly alive with unspoken stories. Memories from the book echoed in the mind, the misty gardens, the playful shadows, the laughter and music, the tender glimpses of longing and hope. These were not merely recollections, but threads now intertwined with the present. The protagonist understood that while the library itself might fade from view, the wisdom of the unread chapters would remain, stitched quietly into the heart, carrying forward the soft magic of dreams once forgotten. Small, subtle changes became apparent with each step. A flower bent slightly, as if acknowledging attention. A soft breeze carried the faintest hint of distant music, and the moonlight seemed to linger just a moment longer on familiar surfaces. The protagonist realized that the weaving of dreams and reality was not confined to the library. It had begun to extend outward into the world in gentle, invisible ways. Each act of observation, reflection, or kindness had the power to awaken threads of possibility, to nurture the fragile beauty of existence, and to carry forward the quiet magic of attention. A feeling of quiet gratitude settled deep in the chest. The protagonist breathed slowly, deliberately, savoring the calm clarity that comes after long reflection. The unread chapters had revealed not only the stories of imagined worlds and forgotten dreams, but also the subtle landscapes of the heart, longings, regrets, hopes, and tender curiosities had all been acknowledged and embraced. There was no need for hurry or urgency, only the soft assurance that awareness itself is a kind of magic, capable of illuminating even the most fragile corners of experience. The night continued, unhurried and gentle. Each sound, each subtle shift of air or light seemed infused with quiet intention. The protagonist walked through familiar streets, feeling both grounded in reality and buoyed by the delicate threads of the magical, reflective experiences just lived. The heart felt lighter, attuned to the subtleties of the world, sensitive to the whispers of the unseen, and open to the quiet wonders that had always existed just beyond perception. In the heart of this calm awareness, the protagonist felt the book's final lesson that the unread chapters do not end when the pages are closed, and the library does not vanish entirely when the doors are left behind. Every memory, every whisper, every tender vision had left a mark, a gentle imprint in the mind and heart. The lessons carried forward, not as burdens, but as gifts, delicate, quiet, and infinitely nourishing. The protagonist paused beneath the glow of looking upward at the silver moon and the quiet stars scattered across the sky. The world seemed vast, yet intimate, alive, yet serene. The magic of the unread chapters, the wonder, the reflection, the gentle nurturing of memory and imagination had become part of the very perception of life itself. No grand gestures or spectacular revelations were needed. The quiet attention to the small, the delicate, the subtle was enough. A final, deep breath filled the lungs. The protagonist felt the resonance of the experience settle fully into the chest, a rhythmic echo that seemed to harmonize with the night. The world outside moved forward as it always had. Yet the heart of the protagonist carried a new perspective, one of patient observation, of gentle curiosity, and of reverent care for the tender, fragile, and beautiful moments that make life quietly extraordinary. And so, with the book closed softly, the whispers fading into memory, and the library itself melting into the corners of imagination, the protagonist stepped fully back into the world. Each step was mindful, each movement measured, and each glance carried the gentle awareness that forgotten dreams, once acknowledged, continue to live, quietly shaping perception, nurturing hope, and coloring the world with subtle, enduring magic. The night was calm, the moonlight soft, and the air carried a faint promise that even when the pages of a book are closed, the unread chapters of the heart continue to unfold, weaving their quiet, reflective magic into every breath, every thought, and every step forward. And with this understanding, the protagonist moved gently onward, carrying the treasures of forgotten dreams in the heart, ready to embrace the world with renewed perspective, quiet wisdom, and a soft, enduring joy. The last page of the book closes gently, yet the whispers remain, soft, lingering, and comforting. The library, with its endless quiet, begins to fade into memory, but the gentle magic of forgotten dreams stays tucked softly in your heart. Feel the warmth of each story you have heard. Tonight, gentle echoes of dreams you may have forgotten, and the quiet lessons they carry. Thank you, dear friends, for joining us tonight on Whispers of the Night. May your dreams be soft, your heart calm, and your night filled with peace and quiet wonder. Sleep gentle, and let the whispers guide you until the first light of morning.